Good evening, and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies, brought to you by thelastmovieoutpost.com. I am your host, not George Lucas, and with us as always is Sean.
Ahoy.
And Drunken Yoda.
Splendid, my British brother from a different mumsy. It's quite an ease up transpiring with these Hollywood wankers this fine American evening, and I, for one, am quite looking forward to getting my cup of tea, plopping down on me bum, and to see all these wankers waffle on and pull each other off for an evening until I wish I were dead. Of course, I'm talking about the Oscars.
Great Ricky Gervais. That's a great Ricky Gervais impersonation.
Of course, yes, it's the Oscars this evening. Who's going to be excitedly watching?
Oh, I'm going to watch it. Sure, because I got money bet on who's going to win.
Hands down.
I will be half that. I will be watching.
Is somebody reporting on it for us for the Last Movie Outpost?
Maybe. I'll see how much I can stomach, and then maybe do a report or a video, or it'll be good. It'll be good material for the entertainment news.
I think the Oscars is one of those things nowadays where I kind of in the morning they go so and so won and so and I go oh, and that's pretty much it. You know, that's my level of interest.
But you know but I mean, we can all make a 90% accuracy guess on who's going to win, which is why I place money on it.
Which the black ones, they'll win.
Yeah.
Oh no, the women one.
The women or the black one. But if it's a black woman one, it's a shoo-in.
Yeah, right. So that's how it's the.
So Ava DuVernay cleans up this year's Oscars. She doesn't even have a movie in it.
You got to look at the victim hierarchy, So like if you're a woman, black above woman, black woman above black transgender woman above, So the more. Where
does Asian come in there?
Oh, they're white now, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, they are.
Oh, okay.
They're worse than white.
Yeah, they're smart white people, so they're worse than white.
Oh, wow, yeah. God, that is a dangerous thing, isn't it? Oh, well, next week I'm sure we'll have a good laugh talking about what predictions we thought came true. We should make some predictions now. So, Sean, you're saying Power of Dog's going to win?
I think, yeah, that's the one I put some money on.
Is that a gay cowboy movie? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
it's a shoo-in. That's the Brokeback Mountain category. It's going to go.
I mean, if it doesn't win, I will be, not only will I be absolutely gobsmacked shocked.
And devastated, I bet. It's your people.
It is my people. I don't know what the gay or cowboy. I'm not from the West.
Sure.
Yes.
Now we'll have...
I think it would be good that to present the best director would be Sam Elliott. If she does win. Oh, God.
Now for best mustache. Oh, Jesus. Sam Elliott again? Okay.
No, it's bound to be a woman this year, isn't it?
Whoopi Goldberg for best mustache.
Depends on what mood Sam Elliott wakes up in the morning, I guess. If he's gender fluid, his gender fluidity. Is that a term?
Is that a before coffee or after coffee thing?
Have you guys seen that meme, little meme, 5 or 10 second clip? And it's Tony Soprano. And I forget what episode it is, but he's sick in one of them. He's sitting on the toilet. He's got his robe open and wife beater, and he's looking like, he's about to turn into a zombie. And somebody edit to above it. It's just this list of all the gender pronoun words, and they're just scrolling through hundreds and hundreds, and you see Tony, and then it goes to a Dutch angle, and he's this is the modern world's kill, and it's so funny.
Have you noticed that when they talk about the possibility of a draft, it's nope, there's only 2, male and female, and I have to work in the kitchen because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly the feminists become, wearing a sundress, and you're like, honey, I baked a cake for you.
Here's a sandwich. I know you love them.
I shaved my braided purple armpit hair and
Here's a question then. In a lesbian household, who eats all the sandwiches?
The one that's the more manly of the two, obviously.
Yeah. No, obviously there's 2 women making sandwiches. Just doesn't seem to be anybody eating them.
They don't eat sandwiches. They eat carpet. You know that.
I was going to make that joke, but thought it was beneath me.
Nothing's beneath me, sir.
You know that when they first legalized gay marriage, there were people, really upset with it. And I was like, not me. And I was like, really? I'm surprised. I said, no. I said, all of us straight people for years have had to suffer divorce court and losing half of our shit. It's time that those gay people have to suffer just like the rest of us. They've been getting off scot-free all these years. Now it's time they feel that pain.
Yep. Why do you think they came up with all the different genders? That screws over all the divorce courts. I think we're onto something here.
I think that would be quite good for the Oscars in the future. The best trans, female, black, American, transgender director is... You think he's boring now? When they're given about the 38 different categories.
And the list of nominees are one. Just the one? I wonder who's going to win.
It takes them so long to read off all the gender pronouns that they start playing that wrap it up music before they even.
They're just chucking about. Okay. That one's for you. That one's for you. That one's for you. It gives us a chance. We might all win.
I guarantee this 5 minutes that we've talked about it is going to be far more entertaining than anything you'll see in the Oscars tonight.
It's entertained me more than the Oscars would ever entertain me. That's for sure.
Seriously, how can you say that? Amy Schumer is presenting. It's going to be hilarious.
I am going to watch it now because that will be a great train wreck.
I mean, she's one of the funniest women on the planet.
That's her movie.
She's gonna skank up on stage and be like, "My vagina, am I right?" White men.
She's gonna pull it out of her vagina. And an Oscar goes through.
How about those white men? Am I right? Orange man bad. Oh.
So I guess there are some things that are beneath me. Oof.
Welcome to Sean. So with us, what we're going to talk about this evening is quite. First of all, unfortunately, we were going to be joined by Cecil from Good Bad Movies, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So we hope
he took one look at our previous streams and just ghosted the hell out of us. And we get it. It's okay. We get it.
I told you to take him down.
He stood us up. It's okay because I've firebombed his house in retribution, so we won't have to worry about that problem anymore.
You put on the Oscar mailing list. But instead, we are going to talk about actors who play the same roles all the time. Now, the one that was first mentioned, which in my mind immediately went to, was John Wayne.
Absolutely.
I mean, John Wayne always plays John Wayne.
Yeah.
In whatever film he's doing. How he won an Oscar for Rooster Coburn, I have no idea.
Well, that was the most John Wayne-iest of roles he could ever take.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love him when he says
John Wayne. John Wayne Actor of the Year award goes to John Wayne.
He's had some fun ones though, hasn't he? Hey there, Pilgrim. I'm Genghis Khan.
I'm telling you guys, I don't like John Wayne as an actor, and I don't really care for John Wayne movies either. I don't like them at all.
My favorite John Wayne performance was in The Greatest Story Ever Told, which was the story about Jesus, and it had, I think it was Max von Sydow who played him, and Jesus is on the cross, and John Wayne plays a Roman guard, and his line was, "Truly this was the Son of God." It couldn't have been more John Wayne if he pulled out a gun and shot him.
His real name being Marion Morrison, maybe he does deserve an Oscar.
Marilyn Manson. His real name is Marilyn Manson.
No. Yeah. Marion Morrison. Marion Morrison, wasn't it?
Maybe he's like that commercial with the guy that plays Aquaman. God, why can't?
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. That commercial he did where he comes in, he basically just takes off his muscles.
Yeah,
he's
just this skinny guy underneath his big muscle suit in real life.
It's funny you say him because that was another name that came to my mind of people who play the same thing in roles, the same roles in each. Jason Momoa plays the big bearded guy in everything he's ever done.
Yeah, I mean, he
haven't seen him in
Game of Thrones and he did Dune, and I don't feel like he was. I mean, I wouldn't call it a huge stretch or anything, but I would say that he has a bit more range than maybe we give him credit for. I just think it's too early to really
I'd agree with that.
figure that one out. I took notes. I did some research on this, guys.
On Jason Momoa with his shirt
I
off?
mean on guys. No, that was personal research. This is professional.
Don't look in his folder called homework on his
That's
computer.
right.
Not porn. He's got it labeled. Not gay porn.
I got it labeled taxes 2013. Don't worry about it.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah, that's what I'm going to label all mine. I mean, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he. It's still too good, and he's not had big enough roles to.
So I wanted to split this up a little bit because when you said same role, I don't know why, but I was thinking same thing or full role because I was thinking I kind of got into like, okay, Harrison Ford always points, Tom Cruise always runs, Sean Bean always dies, Owen Wilson always says wow, and Brad Pitt always eats. But those are just things that they do. That's not really the same role.
Brad Pitt always eats.
He always eats.
I don't.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. He's always got something in his hand. He's always eating or snacking or doing something. In every movie he's in, he takes. I can't believe you guys don't know this.
No, I never. No.
Just search Brad Pitt eats on YouTube, and you will find a whole mess. I think it started in Ocean's 11, and he just everything. He's always holding something like some fries or some, and it's always junk food or shit food too. I don't know how he stays in such good
Which
shape.
I imagine he eats an awful lot of, with the physique he's got.
Yeah, that's what's weird. I wonder if he spits it all out.
Brad, this is what happens.
Yeah, he's got an air pump, in his ass.
He does not play the same. He does not play Brad Pitt in every movie, though. I don't think.
No.
Close.
He's on my list. I don't know.
He's on the verge. I think he's on the verge of being, the guy that plays Brad Pitt in every movie. But I don't think he's quite John Wayne.
You also got an obvious one. Reginald Val Johnson always plays a cop.
Yeah.
He was the diehard cop.
Yeah.
Okay.
The black guy, and then he played a cop in that show forever, and he was a cop in Ghostbusters. He's always playing a cop.
So wait a minute. When I first brought up the topic, I conceived it more as like actors that basically just play themselves in every movie, more like John Wayne.
Well, that's what I settled on.
But then there's like typecasting. Yeah. So are we talking about?
So let's that I kind of felt was typecasting or playing the same profession in every one.
Yeah.
Although I think that kind of lends into you end up playing kind of the same deal every time.
It's the dad in Ferris Bueller. I can't remember his name now, but he always kind of just played the dad in those 80s comedies movies.
He wasn't.
But that's not what we're talking. So that guy can play a dad, but he's not like so. Will Smith, I think, plays Will Smith in every movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know what I'm saying here?
I think he stretched himself though in a few different movies. So between The Pursuit of Happiness and 7 Pounds and a couple of others.
You could even say Aladdin.
Yeah, because there he played a blue man instead of a black man. So clearly, very, very different.
Still a person of color.
Yes, it's on the wheel.
I would say that Robert Downey Jr. has veered into that territory lately too.
Yeah,
he plays Tony Stark in every movie, or Robert Downey Jr., which is pretty close to Tony Stark, just without the intelligence, the super intelligence. But
I think you could say that
apart from in Doolittle, I was going to say Doolittle, where he plays, I think it was a Welshman. He was trying to do the accent of. I'm not quite sure, but he didn't really. That to me, whenever actors are in movies like that, especially after like Avengers, I always think that it's kind of community service. That the actor has been caught with 4 dead prostitutes, and the judge goes, because of that, you've got to do Doolittle, or you've got to do a film with Melissa McCarthy. Oh God, do I? It's like it's kind of their penance for doing something like that.
So, do you want me to go through my list here? Because I kind of did some research and went through some different videos. We'll see what you agree on, and then throw in some that you guys got. So, Seth Rogen. Everybody says Seth Rogen basically plays an affable stoner.
He's probably he's probably more likable in those roles than he is in real life. Obviously.
Definitely. Have you seen his Twitter thread? He just goes after people. for no reason.
He is playing the same role he played in Freaks and Geeks, which was the original thing I ever saw him in, which I quite liked him in, the TV series. But then after that, he has just played the same role in everything I've ever seen him in.
Yep. I don't see him. The closest maybe was Observe and Report, but that's the only thing I can think of that maybe he was a little different in. But everything else is basically the same thing.
It was not a success, even though it's such a great dark comedy. I have to give that movie.
Yeah, when he played something that wasn't himself, that's the one we like.
Yeah.
And that that leads me into Adam Sandler.
Oh, absolutely. Punch Drunk Love, though. You know?
Right, but Adam Sandler generally plays Adam Sandler in almost all of his movies.
Yeah.
Anything that's his Happy Madison label is going to be that same fucking character. Within a range, of course. Sometimes really awful, sometimes more family, but always basically the same thing. Then you got weird things like Uncut Gems, or you've got Reign Over Me, or Punch Drunk Love. You've got these oddities that are out there, but those are not, him. It's just he's actually trying something. That's what irritates me about him. It's like the dude's got some talent, but he just doesn't use it. He's just lazy.
Yeah, he can be a good actor.
Why have I disappeared off the?
You're back. Don't worry.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I never saw you go.
Now.
Yeah, it went black for a minute.
I'm like in a slither.
Yeah, it was a nice.
Slowly move back.
It was a nice reprieve for the audience, but unfortunately he's back. Audio was good, just the something like that.
GC on the website is mentioned Tom Cruise.
I have him on the list.
Okay.
He kind of. I mean, he definitely. I think what he plays Tom Cruise, and basically every one of his movies are he runs, and he does something that should kill him horribly.
The best acting he ever did was the movie exec in Tropic Thunder.
Yes.
It really is. And I don't say that to be funny. I mean, that was...
No.
He was unrecognizable as any Tom Cruise role or anything in that.
Tropic Thunder is such a shining gem in a sea of crap. How they managed to do that. I want to bring that up. I want to bring that up later when we get into that other guy's video.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, that is a very good one. Okay, who else is on the list there, Yoda?
Ken Jeong.
Right. Okay.
Wait a minute. Who? What's he in?
He's
racist.
They all look the same to me. I can't tell them apart.
Disavow. I think he was in Community for a while, and then.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then he always goes. He's always that
Hangover
guy
as well, wasn't
he? Yeah.
He was in the Hangover.
Chow and Hangover movie.
Yeah, he just threw on an accent, but otherwise he basically plays the same dude. Just this obnoxious guy.
Hilarious. He does it very well. He disavow. He does it very well though. He's really great at it.
Drew Barrymore, kind of that same bouncy, optimistic, sunny kind of person.
If that's the case, then her best role was in Scream.
But she died.
Same with
she
Cameron
got killed.
Diaz. Yeah, same with Cameron Diaz. I would put her in that too.
Diaz did really good in Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, well, everyone that we brought up has got one or two standout roles, though.
Well, does Barrymore?
No, but most of them.
Firestarter, man. E.T.
Yeah. E.T.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston, kind of similar. She always plays Rachel from Friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was one that she did. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I think it's called The Good Wife. It's way back in like 2002 or something.
Yoda, make me a mod on the YouTube chat so I can get rid of these three sex bots trying to convince.
No, wait, let them leave a link first.
Well, they already did. Go ahead and click on it before we can get rid of it there.
Mod you. Okay, how do I do that?
What's a virus? I've got a virus.
Yeah.
I clicked on that link.
I feel fine.
Jennifer Aniston was quite good in Critters, though.
You're modded.
Was she in Critters?
Yeah. One of her first roles.
The
first one, or
But funny enough, she played a young Rachel.
She also played the sister in Ferris Bueller. And I know you're going to say, no, that was Jennifer Grey. No. There was a TV show called Ferris Bueller in which she played the Jennifer Grey role that lasted for one season
really?
And died.
Yeah, I remember
goodness
that.
Me.
Because they made a big joke. That? Yeah, they made a joke out of like the first episode. Was like she's Jennifer Grey and she'd had a nose job, and they like it come up in the episode. I just remember it from the. Because
Jennifer Grey played her friend in Friends, didn't she? Not her sister. Her sister was played by Christine Applegate in Friends. Sorry.
I never watched such a gay show like you.
Well, Friends was alright when it was out.
I was more of a Seinfeld fan than.
No, I'm with you, George.
Oh, pretending you're intelligent.
Friends was pretty awesome. Friends was pretty awesome in the day. And it still has some really funny stuff. But
I'm not gonna lie and pretend I was too cool. I liked it too.
Yeah.
My favorite episode. Listen,
he's such a Ross.
My favorite episode is the one where Ross wears those leather pants and he goes to his date's house and sweats so much he can't pull them back up. And Joey's trying to give him
the cream and
talcum powder and all that stuff.
I like when Rachel tries to make the trifle, the English dessert, and sticks the pages together and sticks in like brisket and onions and vegetables. And everybody's like, this is the worst thing ever, except for Joey. He's like, what's not to like? Strawberries good, ice cream good, meat good. I was a Frasier guy though. That to me was the pinnacle.
I liked it too. All right.
Of '90s sitcoms. That was so smart and so well done.
Yeah.
I would have thought you more of a Sex and the City kind of guy though. To be honest with you.
He's such a Samantha.
That's
Which
the
one
first
was
thing
she?
I
have actually no idea about that show. I've never watched it.
I don't know.
I must admit, the only reason I know that line is because it's from another comedy. Genuinely, it was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Getting back to the list, Bruce Willis.
Definitely nowadays, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, even back in the day, I mean, I even look at things like Pulp Fiction and stuff. I was like, does he really play anything that different than what he plays? You know.
Good point.
Mm.
I mean, do you really feel like
somebody say recently? Didn't we have an article up saying that Bruce Willis was actually going loopy or something or other, and people are feeding him lines on sets and stuff with.
That was Yoda talking about the red state media or whatever guy was talking about. Yeah.
That's pretty bad if it is.
So they had a big thing where they talked about how all the Bruce Willis movies are just trash, and he's making all this money off of them and everything. And then right after they did that, it kind of came out that possibly, maybe, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, that Bruce Willis may be having early onset dementia. And sad. What he's trying to do is make, like if he makes like 50 of these movies in a couple of years, or how many ever, and he gets paid $1 million, he leaves his kids, a nice little nest egg, and he can retire and, not have to worry about anything. And, or pay for medical care, whatever it's going to take. And if that's the case, it's kind of like,
you guys pay for medical care?
You do too. You just don't pay for it the same way we do. I hate to break it to you, George.
You pay for it at gunpoint. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I don't earn enough. So I don't pay tax.
I don't pay taxes either, but it's not because it's called very careful maneuvering of various things.
So I don't know what's going on with Bruce Willis, but I do feel bad that he doesn't feel like from his previous stuff that he has enough money to deal with this, if that's what the case is, and B, that his career is going out. I mean, this is John McClane, right? I mean,
he doesn't. Yeah, like if he was a healthy man, there's no reason to do these movies because he has enough.
Just chill.
Yeah. So there's a reason to do it. Like Nicolas Cage doing all those movies. It's tax problems and stuff like that. But a guy like Bruce Willis, it's like there's something else with that. And that's sad too, because I like Bruce Willis a lot. Speaking of that, I don't know if you guys saw the 2018 Death Wish remake. And
I did when it came out.
I didn't. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things from the right people.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Good. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's got some really good stuff in it. Of course, he plays sort of his, half phoning it in self, but not as bad as he got later. But the movie's got some great stuff in it. Eli Roth, of course, always brings the gore, so that part of the movie's taken.
We've been making fun of Bruce Willis for a better part of a decade for just phoning it in or looking like he doesn't care. Kind of the Harrison Ford thing. But, now if it's like, oh, this is what's happening to him now, I don't know. At this point, it's like making fun of Bruce Willis. If that's what's going on, okay, we're done making fun of Bruce Willis for anything. Let him do whatever he's got to do and let him ride off, whimper out into the sunset. But what a sad way to end up. You got to admit, pretty damn good career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we talked about Brad Pitt, Vin Diesel.
Definitely.
Early on, if you look back, early on, like in the early 90s, like when he did Boiler Room and he was in Saving Private Ryan for a small part. There was clearly a guy who could act. And then he did Fast and Furious, and he's been basically
family. Family.
He's been Dominic Toretto forever. So
he don't know how to do anything else now.
On the other hand, he's also Groot. So throw that in there.
Well, I was going to say, for me, his greatest role was the Iron Giant.
Yeah. So his voiceover roles, it's like a completely different Vin Diesel. A guy who could barely talk. He's going to take a character who can barely talk and has a deep voice. That's a Vin Diesel voiceover role.
But Groot was hardly a stretch, was it?
It's amazing to me that they even had to hire somebody like him to do that. Like, you could have just found some intern and go, okay, we want you to just grunt, I am Groot into this thing.
That is marketing on the poster. There's no other reason.
Yeah.
Not that he was bad as Groot. I'm going to tell you.
Does anybody actually know if he was Groot? Because they might have just put his name on a poster and just not told anyone.
I've seen the behind the scenes. He definitely was. And
okay.
I'll give him credit. Like at the very end of the first Guardians, when he says "We are Groot," I'm like going, "Yeah, we are Groot, man." Like, okay, Vin, you got me on that one. God damn it!
The best part of all that gag is the one where he's growing back up in the second one, and he comes into his Chris Pratt comes into his teenage room, and he's like, "Hey, Groot."
Whoa! Look at the acorns on you.
He played baby Groot. He played adult Groot. He played teenage Groot. Maybe we're not giving him enough credit. I'm just saying.
That's true. There's a wide
because he has to do it all with 3 words. That's the only dialogue he's got.
Daniel Day-Lewis couldn't pull that off.
No.
See, Daniel Day-Lewis. There's another guy who plays the same role all the time.
Yeah, dude has no flexibility. Him and Gary Oldman hacks.
So the Vin, that just stands for vindicated. You've been vindicated. Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
He's such a non-entity to me. I don't even.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done enough lately.
I do like Behind the Ferns, or Between Two Ferns, the series he did of interviewing people and like ripping the piss out of them. They were quite funny with some of the stuff because they would have a go at him.
It wasn't as much acting though, was it?
No, I just find those very funny. But like you say, he was playing. Well, he was obviously playing himself in them. But yes, he is somebody who just generally plays.
What's he even been in? He was in those Hangover movies, and then he was in that one with Robert Downey Jr. And I can't think of a thing hardly that he's been in since.
He was in Dinner for. Was it Dinner for Idiots? No, Dinner for Schmucks.
He was in G-Force. Why do I know about this movie? Because my kids were at that
Nicolas
age.
Cage was good, isn't it?
No, was he in that?
Yeah, G-Force. Yeah, Nicolas Cage was in G-Force. The one about the
he was the voice about one of the hamsters. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about that movie because my kids were at an age where that was the greatest movie ever made, and I watched it 753 times. And
you liked it? You're saying you liked it too? Then
I'm saying they had to talk me off a ledge. Yes.
You said that you saw it so many times.
Daddy, can we watch G-Force again?
No. I'll do it, kids. I'll do it. I don't care how much drama you have right now.
I remember enjoying the film when I watched it, but I've only seen it once, so.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah. It's got talking animals in it.
It's just a kids. It's a harmless kids movie with a bunch of hamsters that are smart.
Nobody
or
gets
something.
their head ripped
There's
off.
no,
in its
there's no
short,
rape
so-
in it. There's no
No.
rape in it.
So,
No.
Oh, I don't
Well, I think
care.
one of the
It's not-
hamsters might have raped another one. I don't know.
A lot of hamster rape going on.
Hamster rape. That was kind of surprising. I was not expecting that in a G-rated film. But
That's the European. That's the European unrated cut.
I often like that sometimes. You see memes of stuff like that. I had a picture of it was a very hot woman in underwear, but she was wearing a Halloween mask, and it was kind of, I think I've downloaded the wrong Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Don't remember any of this in
I
the
thought
original.
I thought this was Halloween 30. I thought they'd had that many sequels. But you're saying XXX doesn't mean that.
Yeah. It's not part 30.
Okay.
That was disappointing about the Vin Diesel movie, Triple X. Not as
Yeah.
good.
Not a bit of
one sex scene in it.
I know.
No nudity. Nothing.
I thought about organizing a class action lawsuit about that.
I was going to do that against the Never-Ending Story as well.
Because yeah,
Okay,
talk about some.
Hour and a half. I should still be in the cinema.
Jason Statham.
Definitely, but he gets a pass on that though, because
I mean, with him,
We're not
though,
talking about whether you like it or not. Does he
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
play the same person? In
absolutely, he plays He plays not only the same guy, but he plays Jason Statham in
Yeah.
the movie.
the only thing with Jason Statham is when he tries to do an American accent, and it's awful. I quite like the Transporter, the first one. I think it was maybe the first two, but his American accent is just a London person trying to do an American accent, and it just sounds awful.
Why don't you try to do an American accent for us? Can you pull it off? Like legit, no joke, but can you pull it off?
It's got to
What
be
kind of
better than my
American
English
accent do you want me to do?
I don't know, not mine, but
I
don't
can
know,
do
I've
yours
heard-
if you want to. You like talking like this? It's how everybody talks like down there, isn't it?
that's not even close.
Ain't it? Ain't it?
You-
I can do the New York accent because I've seen people
All
do
right,
impressions
okay.
from people from New York.
I said be serious.
I actually felt physical pain on that.
I did too. I was like,
I mean, it's different parts of America. I don't know. I can do the Deep South like that.
no, that's not even close.
See, the hardest one is the vanilla non-accent that I have.
Yeah.
It's the
very subtle one.
the very bland nothing accent. It doesn't have a twang
Midwest.
of the South. It doesn't have the posh of the English. It doesn't have the kind of the optimism
When you
of
talk, most people fall
Minnesota.
asleep.
Doesn't have the annoying, smug, nobody can stand you Yankee.
It's the one they use on TV as much as possible. That's why all the Friends had no New York accents. Why? They all live in New York, right? But they all sounded like they were from Omaha.
Hey, I live in New York. That's how they talk there.
I honestly think that Johnny Carson was the reason why that happened, because when he came from Omaha and he had that same non-accent that everybody wants, because it doesn't put you anywhere in the United States. A Southern accent it localizes you. This accent, no idea. I could be from anywhere in the U.S. Nobody knows.
That's true.
See, in the UK, it's very different. I can immediately tell where somebody's from the UK.
Well, yeah, you
with
can
their
hear.
accents.
You can hear too. That's what I mean. He's not from the South. He's not from Wisconsin. But it's.
I know he's not married to his sister.
Well, I don't know about that. There's no guarantee about that regional either. So.
She stood me up at the altar.
Hey-o.
Jesse Eisenberg.
You know the definition of a virgin in West Virginia? A girl that can run faster than her brother and her dad. They're weird over there. Disavow.
Right, so
I just want
Eisenberg.
to die. I just want to die. Jesse
Jesse
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg, totally somebody who plays the same thing and everything. I did like him in, I think the first thing I remember seeing him in was Facebook, the social network.
Yeah.
But then ever since then, he has just played the same character, with the exception of, I will say, because I saw it recently, Vivarium.
I have not seen that yet.
Vivarium, I
Is that
love.
the one with
You
the
should-
weird, like it looks like a
Green
subdivision, and then they're stuck in there or something? I've been reading
it's
I saw
fantastic.
I'll have to check it out. I saw the trailer and then it kind of fled my mind, and with the pandemic and everything, I don't even know if it got a theatrical release. I'll have to look for it.
It is one of those films that I have seen a couple of times now, and I absolutely loved it more the second time. Basically, they go to look at a house, and the guy showing around suddenly disappears, so they try to drive out of this place, and they can't. And they just end up back in this house, and they get basically stuck there for what seems ever. And it's such a bizarre movie. It's absolutely brilliant. And what I love about it is, and this isn't a spoiler, but there's no explanation to what happened.
I totally get the symbolism. They're trying to say, people who live, standard Midwest lives are just trapped in what looks like an idyllic place, but they really just want to get out and die.
They want to move to the city.
Yeah.
They want to move to Detroit.
They have no real lives. They're just robots. I'm like, you obviously don't live out in any suburb. We're not the ones full of crime and drugs. I mean, not to say we don't have problems, but we're not the hellholes that New York is right now. So I feel like that is. It looks like a good movie. I probably would enjoy it.
I always think it looks nice there.
Well,
Spider-Man makes it look nice.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think I'm being mean to hellholes.
Vivarium, you should definitely check out that.
I will check it out. It does look interesting. I mean, I'm not trying to. I disagree with his symbolic take on.
No, fair enough.
This kind of thing. It's not like
Hollywood hates the suburbs and the middle class
and family and all that.
Rural, yeah.
So, Danny McBride.
Definitely.
Oh God, yeah.
Although I haven't seen him in much lately.
Oh really?
He's got a series on HBO called the Gemstones, where he's in a family that play. They're all like these, big time hack. What do you call it? They go around and they preach and then they heal you by putting their hands on you.
Oh yeah. Didn't he also play on a long running series where he was like a teacher or a coach or something?
Vice principal, yeah.
Vice
it was
principal,
great too.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good series, highly recommend.
No, I can't stand any
more.
Oh,
and I did want to mention, taking a step back to Eisenberg. Yes, he pretty much plays the same unlikable douchebag in every one of his movies.
That's anti-Semitic.
Douchebag? Or unlikable?
Take your pick.
But what about Lex Luthor? I mean,
I was going to make a joke about that, but then I thought, well, no, he really does kind of play different than he normally plays on that one.
He seemed to be the only person having fun on that movie. Everybody else was taking it way too seriously, way too dark and moody.
He does not. He was Lex just Luthor.
Having fun.
I can never see bald-headed Lex Luthor shoving a Jolly Rancher in somebody's mouth like that, but
again, you downloading the wrong films, that's why.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Paul Rudd.
Definitely, maybe one of the worst offenders on the list too, as far as playing this.
What's even worse is he's been doing it for the last 78 years, and he still looks the bloody same.
Yeah.
That's why I hate him, is because he never ages.
I mean, stick to what you know, I guess, but...
I get, being immortal.
He must bathe himself in the blood of virgins every night.
That's a lot of adrenochrome.
We talked about John Wayne. Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah. I don't find him funny.
It always plays the same excitable, screaming, short
He was in Jumanji and Central Intelligence with The Rock.
Oh, the black comedian guy?
Yeah.
Well, comedian's stretching it.
Well, I mean,
he's definitely black.
Comedian, does that make it better?
I don't hate him or anything. I mean, he's okay. I don't go on my way to, like, if he's in a movie, it doesn't automatically Kevin Hart. I mean, he's fine. He's just he's always the same guy.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Not whether you like them or they do a bad job at playing the same guy, just that they play the same, basically the same guy.
Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah.
The same stupid adult man-child thing.
Never found him funny.
Do you guys like that Stranger Than Fiction with him in it?
I do like that, and that's the one that stands out. Yeah,
I like it too.
I liked Anchorman. I liked Ron Burgundy. I liked that whole thing. The first one. But after that shtick just got real old real fast.
Yeah. And endless internet memes make the lifespan of stuff like that even shorter.
I think what really blew it for was that stupid Step Brothers. I absolutely
people love that movie, but I don't.
Funny enough, I've got to get a clip of that for my How to Make a DC movie for the bit where there's, are we best friends now? I think so. You know,
right, two guys in their 40s acting like teenagers is just poison to me. I just like grow like and you know it probably would be.
Are you talking about Will Ferrell or us?
He's talking about us.
Will Ferrell, like you could have done that maybe back in the 70s. It would have been kind of a fun oddity, but like we're surrounded by, you know, toddlers wearing adult skin suits every day, all the time in real life. I don't need to see it in my
look
movies.
at TikTok.
Yeah, or Twitter or all of them. Okay, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh God, that is the worst offender.
I would agree.
Yeah.
He's, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Deadpool is brilliant. I love Deadpool. It is very funny. I love the fourth wall and everything else. But even like the Adam Project, which I watched the other day, I quite enjoyed it. But there is nothing new about what Ryan Reynolds is doing in any way, shape, or form. He's not stretching himself at all in any way.
Oddly enough, Cecil had a few good things to say about his performance in that movie. So
yeah, and he said he'd never seen Free Guy. I haven't seen the Adam Project yet. I plan to watch it here soon. But I loved Free Guy, and I kind of like Ryan Reynolds' shtick. I mean, I find him likable, and I like his...
Yeah, in moderation. You know, if he made a movie like every year or something, you know, you'd get old fast, right?
Yeah, it probably would. But I don't hate his shtick. I like it. It's kind of a throwback to the 80s snarky guy like Bill Murray or you know.
Yeah, he would have definitely fit in back then.
I also like his Twitter game is fantastic.
My favorite quote of him is when he retweeted his wife who was pregnant, and she sort of said, "Oh, I'm pregnant," and he just retweeted her saying, "I did that."
Yeah. This Twitter game's amazing, and his complete commitment to screwing with Hugh Jackman is also awesome. So I mean, I kind of like the guy, and he doesn't seem to. He keeps his mouth shut mostly about politics, from what I've seen, or when he does do it, he does it to take the piss out of somebody. So I guess that's part of it. You know, if you like the actor, you like his parts he plays, but. I mean, I could go through a few more of these. The Rock.
Yeah, he does.
Basically,
I mean, funny enough, his early career was pretty decent when he got into movies. His early stuff was all right. But now, I think somebody posted a picture the other day, and it was kind of like 4 versions of The Rock, and they were sort of saying, this is 3 different movies.
Yeah.
4 different movies, you know, and he was just in a T-shirt in the jungle looking, you know, hard. And yeah, I think, like I say, I loved him in Get Shorty, was it, or Be Cool, the sequel, Be Cool. He was as the gay bouncer, or the gay bodyguard. He was hilarious in that. But since then, everything he's done is just the same thing.
It's The Rock. Liam Neeson has had very good acting in his past, but now he plays old guy with a specific set of skills that's going to murder you.
Yeah. These new ones out on streaming.
And he's a terrible person that, you know, he's a disgusting human being anyway.
Is he?
Is he?
Oh, God, yeah, dude.
Just because he's Irish?
No, because his politics and his you just haven't seen.
No, I stay away from all that. So I know you. I don't know.
I know.
I haven't heard that much from him. I know he got in trouble a while back because, like, there was a friend of his that got beat up by a minority, a black person, I think. I don't know. And so he admitted that he was kind of got racist because of it, because a person of his got hurt, and he realized that was bad. And they said, well, it's too bad that you realized it, everything. It doesn't matter because you shouldn't have realized it in the first place, and now you're awful. And I was like, going, Jesus, he's trying to work out all these feelings, and he had somebody hurt. Why are you going after him? He's like, I know it was bad. I was saying that, this was 20 years or 30 years ago, whatever it was. So I don't. Other than that, I don't know anything about his politics. I just
He's anti-gun, so that means that he is.
You got a little bit of bias there. So
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, always the quirky guy.
Oh, always. Although he's gotten better at that, I would argue.
Oh, he's leaned into it for sure.
Yeah, now that he's leaned into it, I actually like him better.
You see him in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's like way dialed down, right?
His best role and his best performance, and I don't think this is going to come as a shock to you guys, is when he's the rapist in the first Death Wish movie. Great rape scene. Great rape scene.
Actually, that does come as a shock to me. But okay. That's
right.
That's what you gravitate to. I think we know where you're.
Rape is always shocking.
You know that sooner or later we are going to have a live stream of best rape scenes of all time.
I'm going to persist until I have my.
Didn't we always do that?
Just movie ones, Sean. Just movie ones.
I want a full 2 hours uninterrupted.
You remember that security cam on 5th Street? That was awesome.
Remember that time when remember that time my girlfriend got a little too drunk and passed out? Oh man.
Yeah, and my webcam was left on. That was awesome.
I got so many hits that night. It was great.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yes. Another disgusting human being.
So that's my list.
Yeah, you kind of like hit most of mine too in that. I would say obviously Steven Seagal. Charles Bronson.
So let me ask you.
Seagal run. He's got this really weird arm thing when he runs.
Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, I think that's like everybody in the world knows about that, right? His weird.
I didn't, but I believe it. I hadn't really noticed.
If you look it up, you'll see memes of when he runs, his arms just go really.
This very
wristed. I'll look up Steven Seagal running. You look up Brad Pitt eating, and we'll come back next week and we'll discuss it for 2 hours.
Madlink says the tree in Evil Dead is a great rape scene. Is it though? I mean, it's tree rape, but I don't know. I always got the feeling the girl kind of liked it in that movie, so I'm not so sure. They gotta hate it. That's what makes a good rape.
Yeah, I don't know. The crying and the blood kind of made me think that she didn't. But hey,
I spit on your grave.
I guess it's open to interpretation.
Love it. I spit on your grave. It's not as funny as the book, though.
That's true.
So let me ask you guys. If is it that these guys don't stretch themselves, don't have range, or is it because once they become bankable a certain way, they can't get
just
parts unless they do the thing that they do?
Well, I think they become big stars because of their persona. A lot of it is personal charisma and the whole thing about them, and so people want to see that. So Robert Downey Jr. I think is a good illustration of it. He become Tony Stark, and people like that so much that they want him just playing that. Hell, even in real, they kind of want him to act like that in real life. And I think
I just thought of another one, Michael Cera.
Yeah. Although I haven't seen him much lately either.
He got so overexposed. I think it almost hurt. It hurt his career. I think because
you get him when he can't get Eisenberg.
I always remember somebody saying that Michael Cera was just he looks like somebody who's just managed to sort of wander onto the set, and then they pushed him into the film, and he's just too embarrassed to say anything. Yeah. Just say the lines. Oh, okay. And just sort of too polite to sort of actually back out of how far he's got.
So my question to you is, how many guys that are top billed can do different things and get away with it? I mean, like, even De Niro and Pacino and some of these guys, they play the same basic thing these days.
De Niro has played the same guy since Goodfellas. Pacino
except for Stardust when he played the gay pirate.
But Al Pacino's sort of played the same guy since Sin of a Woman. Mostly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
mostly.
But, like, I look at Christian Bale. He can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, he's a good actor.
Like,
I put him in the same. Maybe he's not as good, but I don't know. Argument could be made that maybe he is. But I think of him like as versatile as Gary Oldman and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Gary Oldman's another one. Jake Gyllenhaal. He'll do a lot.
I would say, this is going to be controversial now, but I would say Johnny Depp, Because I mean,
No.
he plays. I think he plays really different roles.
Yeah,
at
you're
times.
right. You're right.
You
He
know-
got stuck there for a while. He kind of got stuck as Jack Sparrow. It seemed like, but you're right though, because I was watching The Ninth Gate the other day, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, this even though Roman pedophile Polanski made this, I like that movie.
Yeah,
and,
I think he's got the Al Pacino, Robert De Niro syndrome. He was
He
great
does, yeah.
early in his day. He did a lot of great stuff when he was young and hungry. Now he's just content playing weird
He
cartoons.
can't get anything nowadays.
What?
He
was
can't
that?
get anything these days.
No, not these
Yeah.
days. But I mean, he's been fine with playing some sort of cartoon character anymore.
he has, yeah,
Yeah.
he's played like this hyper realistic version of him, like you say.
The pirate, the Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow. He played the Mad Hatter. He played Willy Wonka. It's all weird
Michael
stuff.
Maddox has said Michael Cera was great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't remember him in Brooklyn.
I've never
Nine-Nine.
even
And he's
seen
also-
that. Yeah.
And he's also said Gary Oldman was great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't remember
Those
that
two
either.
those two are in the same movie. That seems like it's some kind of
No,
crime.
not
That's
the
a
movie,
TV show.
series.
Oh,
It's a TV
It
series.
was a
with
comedy
Adam
cop
Sandberg.
show. That was with Andy Samberg, I think. I've never watched it.
I-
I've heard good things.
Do you know what? I have seen all of them a couple of times, and I quite like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's quite funny. I don't remember seeing Michael Cera and Gary Oldman in it, though.
that's how good
might be
that
wrong.
Gary Oldman is. He could be anybody.
Yeah, he plays
He
that
could
black
make-
guy.
Yeah. His best. I'm going to tell you right now. His best role ever was Drexel from True Romance. The pimp,
yeah.
the pimp that thinks he's black.
Yeah,
That. Oh my God, that is.
because he's got one eye missing as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got like one eye. It's bad.
I don't know. There's Leon. Everyone.
That's pretty cool, but he is so over the top awesome as Drexel in True Romance.
I mean, when I saw, I first became aware of Gary Oldman when I saw The Fifth Element,
Mhm.
and then
yeah.
and then I saw Air Force One. I'm like, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
He played what Sid Vicious
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Johnny
what got him
Roth.
started
Yeah.
way back when.
Yeah. I don't think that's that good of a movie. You know, I watched it years ago, and after he, become, as my movie, what do you want to? More matured, I was like, yeah, it's okay, but I could see it in him, but looking at his later performances probably hurt my perception of that one because and I don't know that much about those guys, so that probably I didn't have much to go by, I guess. I don't know.
Just thinking of another one now, George Clooney.
Yeah, he plays the same friggin' guy.
Pretty much the same bloke as he played in ER.
The
with
only
the
movie,
exception, I suppose, of Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah, I like that. The only movie besides
Come
that
on,
he's
he
been
had
in that I like.
He had a star-making turn in Batman and Robin. I don't know what your problem is.
I mean, he
He's-
was so
he's
good they
hot.
couldn't even continue the franchise.
That's right. He broke the mold, baby.
The problem with that movie is the nipples. It just puts you right off his performance.
That's what
just
it was.
staring at the nipples.
I really liked the Quiet American or the American, the one where he's like a hitman in Italy. And it's from about 10 years ago.
No,
It was a very small movie. Did you guys
done
see
that
it?
much recently either, has he?
Yeah.
Has he been around?
He's probably gotten so he's either gotten so expensive that nobody wants to hire him, or two, he's on the verge of getting Me Too'd. So he's like, he was in that
I don't think there
corner.
was. I think there's no more George Clooney role than his Ocean's 11, but I really liked him in the. I can't remember what it was called. There was two of them I liked of his a lot. One of them was Up in the Air, and then there was I think it's Michael.
I know what you're
Michael
talking about.
Collins or something like
Yeah,
that.
no, but where he's like a fixer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
And then
about.
there's another one they did, and I can't remember it. I think it's called The Descendants, and it's where he's in Hawaii, and he's a native Hawaiian because he was born there. And there's this weird thing with native, but he owns some land, I guess, and it's worth a lot of money. And they're the descendants of people who have been there, but most of it is just him dealing with his daughter, trying to and her idiotic boyfriend and things like that. And it's been a while since. It's really good. It's actually really good. It's one of those
boring.
quirky dramas, but it's good. It's really good.
Maddox has just said that I could never finish Batman and Robin. Isn't that the one with Brendan Fraser and Alfred from Batman Begins. Brendan Fraser's not in Batman and Robin.
I don't think he's even said anything publicly about Batman. That's how far away from that.
Manning, I think you should probably stop drinking this early of an evening.
Yeah. That's the Mummy you're thinking of.
Yeah. That's not like Batman.
Was Michael Caine in The Mummy?
No. But there was a guy.
Okay, Google Brendan Fraser and Michael Caine. See what we get a cross section there. What movies they were in together.
I think he's Michael Caine's British, so there was a British guy in The Mummy, so he's probably getting them confused because they all look the same.
I don't know. It was Jonathan Hanna. He was Scottish, not British, I suppose. But yeah, he was from Scotland, which is the same thing as England. Just in case, what's his name? McLeod is watching this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what else.
Somebody's account on the website just got deleted.
No, another one always plays the short fella, Peter Dinklage.
I know it. You think that someone would do something like.
Excuse me. Point of order. He played a giant in Avengers.
A giant
quiet dwarf.
A giant.
He was still pretty damn tall, as I recall. Knocked Thor around.
His best role was in Knights of Badassdom. I'm telling you that really is.
Yeah, that is a great movie. That is fantastic.
Dinklage is a guy who's actually a very versatile actor, and he also seems like a complete asshole in real life. So,
well, do you know what? He had a whole rant the other day about the whole Snow White and Seven Dwarfs things, and a load of dwarf people were sort of saying, "Great, thanks for putting us out." Peter Dinklage is playing. Is it going to be in a movie on the IMDb called Dwarf, and he plays the dwarf? You know.
I know, and all the little people actors are like, we already got fucked out of Lord of the Rings. You want to shut up?
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
That would be quite funny to see a fight. I think my favourite line in that, there was a comedy show over here called Phoenix Nights with a guy called Peter Kay, who's brilliant. And there's a bunch of dwarves get out of a van because they just won a football match. And Peter Kay's character looks at them and goes, how far away are they? It's brilliant. And then they end up getting beaten up. Yeah, there you go. I've just looked it up. He's in a movie called The Dwarf, and he plays the dwarf.
So that I got to
ask, that's a stretch.
How many dwarves do you think you could beat up at one time, George? Like if you had like 7 or 8 of them, not magical dwarves, just regular dwarves.
Is this a boxing match or street rules?
Well, you can, anything other than a gun, anything below a gun, or your bare fist.
2 at the most, because I could hold them at arm's length and they couldn't hit me. So there's that.
Would you like
just see that little arms going?
Would you like kick them like it was a soccer ball?
Push comes to a shove, then yeah, probably would.
I would just like, I'm thinking that I would want like a chain, and just,
You could run away from them because they've got little legs.
Oh, or you could stomp their little feet.
How do we get away with this?
Yoda's like disavowed himself from the screen.
I put you guys on a 2-shot. I'm out of this one.
Do you know the ultimate humiliation was you'd be like you would like threaten them and bully them and then make them put on like little baby gowns and stuff to humiliate them, like a bonnet.
No, I dress them up in little hats and call one dopey and one happy and one sad and one sneezy and. That's the whole joke, isn't it? I was in a car accident and the bloke got out and he was a dwarf and he said, I'm not happy. I said, well, which one are you?
Hey-o. I can't believe you laid us down this road. All right. All righty. Anyway, so
movies. Let's talk about anything else right now, please.
Sorry. I had quite the build-up of snot, so I had to blow my nose. I apologize.
I thought there was like doors pounding on the door now after that.
No, they're only downstairs. It's fine.
So you guys want to move on to the Call Me Chato guys YouTube? Are we done with the same guys?
Yes, Mother of God. Let's move on.
Anything else? Yes. Okay. How can we offend him? He's very bold, isn't he?
He's got some weird looking glasses.
He is incredibly insightful. From what he said,
let's explain who this is.
Yeah. So he apparently was some TV Hollywood TV executive, producer, or something.
Hollywood executive, yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood exec. So
he said his job was to lie to the people making the movie and lie to the people funding the movie in order to get things done.
Yeah,
that was pretty much his job. He was the go.
Yeah, his words. That's not paraphrased either. That's like almost a direct quote. Yeah. And he's got a YouTube channel, and he talks about some Hollywood insights lately. And recently, he did a video called was it "Why Is Hollywood a Black Hole?" I believe is the title of it. I sent it to you guys, and he people ask him, he's like, "Why does everything suck?" or blah blah, and he says that Hollywood makes movies for other Hollywood shitbags, basically.
We're not the audience. Everybody in their circle is the audience.
Yeah. So
what am I going to make to please somebody else?
Yeah. So he makes the argument like all these movies about filmmakers. Why there's so many movies get approved that are stuff like Once Upon a Time on Hollywood, or what's another one he uses? Get Shorty, I think, is one of them.
He goes back that far.
Singing in the Rain, yeah.
The Player,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney always going to turn this barn into a theater.
Yeah. And
I like the thing that he said about the other video that he put up about how modern Hollywood hates Captain Kirk, and how he said that the original Star Trek was a group of people who were great at their job and they were out there exploring, whereas nowadays the people on the Enterprise are all escaping their past of some reason, and they all have to tell everybody what their sexual preference is, like any of that matters. At no point in the original Star Trek, I mean, I know there was episodes like where Spock had to go back to Vulcan because he was horny and things like that, but that was it. Whereas these days it's kind of, every character is going to mention that they're bi or gay or straight or fancy tribbles or whatever it is. And again, it's this whole Hollywood woke thing. It really struck a chord with me when he said that.
He's got some great insights, and he's much better at
What's the name of his channel? Either you guys got it up?
Call Me Chato. I think it's spelled CHATO. Is the name of his channel. I was going to ask if there was a way if you could pull some of it up there or something, but
I was not prepared for this.
Even though we agreed on the topic 2 days ago.
Because usually
we didn't agree on
top of all the technical stuff.
Somebody pulled the ripcord and tapped out of this thing, and now we've had to scramble to find a goddamn topic.
Thanks a lot, Cecil. I hope you enjoy your new burnt down home.
Yeah. It's funny because
that's the kind of attitude that will get him back on, right?
Let's hope he never watches this.
I'll burn down his doghouse if he doesn't come on.
Yeah. That Call Me Chatter also mentioned about James Woods, how James Woods isn't being employed anymore because of political affiliation, which I had no idea about.
It really kind of spoiled the video for me.
James Woods is a vicious bastard on Twitter.
Yeah,
and it is a masterful takedowns of everybody. It's a wonder. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah. You can hear the hallelujah chorus every time he goes after somebody.
He's so good at it that he's been banned from Twitter a couple of times. So that.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah. His disclaimer at the end of the video about James Woods, I thought was a little, he really cucked out on that. I think he should have. There was no reason to that.
I again, he just doesn't like James Woods' politics, fine, but he also identifies where the problems are. He's not a lunatic, obviously. He understands where the problems are and what a bubble. And I said this a long time ago. Hollywood is stuck in their own bubble for so long that they just don't understand. They write for themselves, and they write this stuff because everybody around them is echoing back to them. Yeah, you're awesome. Yeah, those people. Yeah, the MAGA. Blah blah blah. They hear nothing else. They've never got out of it. And it's just gotten thicker and thicker and thicker as time has gone on. And you bring in, and I think the bubble encircles politicians and the media, because Rush Limbaugh used to say politics is showbiz for ugly people.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
also said feminism exists so ugly women could get dates.
Yeah.
Which is true.
And the media, the journalism, the media, all that is showbiz for people who can't act. Because usually there's pretty beautiful people on the talking head shows and stuff, but they can't act or they don't have any talent. So that's how they get their fame. But they all suck each other off in this thing. That's all they do.
I put a link to his new video that we're discussing in the chat on YouTube there if you wanted to click on it, or if one of you guys was hunting for it.
Oh, I found him on the Slack thing, but yeah.
Okay. I will put it in the in this video.
I do find it's amazing with like him and a few other people, particularly comes to mind as like the Critical Drinker, how they completely understand what is going on in Hollywood, but Hollywood is just completely oblivious to the whole thing. They
are.
They just do
By
not
design.
have a clue.
By design. They are the equivalent of sticking your fingers into your ears and going ba 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 ba. You know, that's what that's their whole mentality. Like I said, they're children wearing adult skin suits. Emotionally, they're stunted. I got another video coming up here soon. I know you guys are still butthurt about it, but I talked to Eggy about Star Trek, and I wanted to get into is not the results or even the politics, although that obviously came up a little bit to illustrate points, but was trying to get into the psychoanalytics of why these people are the way they are. And this was before I'd watched that video of this guy's channel of the incestuousness of Hollywood. But trying to understand, how can they write things like this? Why can't they understand what, Star Trek was originally all about? Why don't they understand Western values anymore? Free speech and all that kind of stuff. It's like this kind of stuff was always baked into all the stories. Even, they were always baked in this underlying foundation, and that foundation's been ripped away, and now they're pushing stuff that's just, it's antithetical to human nature.
I was going to say, it's kind of like, I never understand how rich people need more money. You've got, like Jeff Bezos is worth, absolutely billions.
It's not about the money.
If you've got that much, why do you need more of it?
It's a tool for power.
Yeah, it's power. It's not.
It's a social thing. It's a being on top. It's being the biggest, and the money is a tool to get you there. There's a lot of rich people you never hear about. And
you can pay not to be on the list.
But then there's people. What's the difference between Jeff Bezos and some billionaire you've never heard of? Jeff Bezos has to be in the limelight. I'll put Trump in that category. The guy just cannot get away from being in front of people and getting people to adore him, or he just feeds on it.
Or even the hate, he thrives on that as well.
The worst thing you could do to Trump is ignore him.
Yeah.
He doesn't care whether you're shitting on him or loving him, but ignoring him would be the thing to really hurt Trump.
And the beauty of it is he knows that they will never ignore him.
Yeah, no, they can't help themselves.
Yeah, they can't.
Because they are the same type. They can't be ignored either. People who constantly go on about Trump, people who dedicate their entire Twitter to Trump, are also look at me people.
So then when you think of it, that with Hollywood, the way that they are and the way that they behave, it's the same mentality of, they need to be right and they need to be loved and that kind of thing. Yeah,
I again, spoilers, but I kind of chalked it up to that it really comes down to two things: insecurity, which is really fear, and laziness. You encapsulate those two, at the base of most of these people, and you'll kind of get to understand why they think the way they think, or why they say some of the things that they say, because they clearly, like I was, Mark Hamill screams gay 57 times on his Twitter. It's like, okay, Mark, you didn't read the bill in Florida, or you did, and you're lying about it. There is no third choice here. So either you're lazy and incompetent, or you're a liar.
Yeah.
But there's
a little bit of both, probably, in his
case. To be honest with you, with a guy like that, I'd say it's 50-50 either way.
Yeah.
I really would. Because it's like, they could be completely lazy, or they could be complete liars. I don't know. But I'm not going to say, I really can't tip it to one side or the other, and I'm being generous, I think.
Yeah, some of them I think straight up lie, like they know better. They do, but it's a propaganda effort.
Yeah.
But then you got idiots like him who are in their own little world and of yes men and stuff, and they just don't bother. Somebody they know, or they see something on, and they're like, oh, that's it. That's the way it is. Oh, I'm not going to bother to check myself or anything, and I'm going to virtue signal because it feels good to virtue signal.
Now, what's interesting about what this guy said is that the crew aren't like that, which would make sense because the crew are never in front of the camera. And they don't have enough clout as a producer or director to end up on an awards show, right? So they have jobs they need to get done. Even special effects guys and stuff like that, they have technical jobs they need to get done. So they may parrot some of this stuff just to keep their jobs because they don't get paid enough and they don't have enough clout to buck the line. But in private, they're like probably getting home and just drowning in a bottle of whiskey, going, "God, I hate these people."
Yeah, I think the comic book industry is like that. Until recently, until this comic book or Comicsgate thing started, and people started leaving DC and Marvel, you thought all of them were, far left kooks that wanted to, but as they leave, and they're like, "Whoa, God, let me tell you guys, man,
So Ethan Van Scriver was one, and there's some others. I'm looking at what Daily Wire is doing. And they're trying to build a movie studio, in essence, TV and streaming and everything. And Eggy and I kind of disagreed on this. I said that long term, that's good, that they're going to build. And what really got me started on this was looking at the Harry's Razors fiasco. Are you guys familiar with that?
I know Harry's Razors, but I don't know what did they do. Harry's
Razors. Okay, you remember Gillette? Gillette has been just completely woke. They put out that ridiculous thing about how men are crap.
Boys can be boys.
Yeah. Your main customer base, you just insulted. Bold move there, Cotton. So Harry's Razors came out, and they were kind of like trying to be a more economical way, a better razor that, than just the Schick and Gillette. And they advertised on a Daily Wire. One kid, a 14-year-old kid, at least this is what I've heard so far, he put on, he had like 2 followers on Twitter, and he said, "Hey, Harry's, why are you advertising with somebody that hates trans people?" And Harry's immediately said, "Yep, you're right. Daily Wire is a bunch of bigots, and we're not advertising with them anymore." And Daily Wire's like, what the F, It's like, if you don't want to advertise with us, that's fine. Nobody's, you can advertise with whoever you want. You can choose to advertise with us or not. They didn't have a problem with that. But shitting on them publicly, making a big stink about it, that kind of pissed him off. So the guy who runs the Daily Wire, he put out, he's been working for a year, and he just had what I would call the greatest commercial ever made for his new Jeremy's Razors, And the crux of it was, it's like these other companies hate you, and well, we don't love you. We'll be happy to take your money.
Yeah.
And to the point that I signed up because I want to start shaving this anyway because it's getting hot. But you didn't have much of a choice to do business with some of these companies because the companies are the ones giving the product. But now I have an actual alternative for razors. I don't have to buy from Harry's. I don't have to buy from Gillette. It's just a blade that cuts hair. It's not too difficult. If he wants to put out something that isn't going to treat me like I'm a piece of shit, then fine. I'll buy from him. And Daily Wire is now also creating entertainment. They've put out a few movies. They're trying to build a movie studio. The problem is that they're going to have to build distribution channels. They may have to build their own streaming service. It's going to take a long time.
And not only that, but they're also doing it against the whole setup that Hollywood has
right.
as well.
They have to build all the infrastructure and everything.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to distribute something through 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
But I believe, and I
They
think
will through Disney.
Oh, no, they won't.
Sure they will. Sure they will, George.
Yeah.
Sure they will.
But I'm thinking it may take decades, but as they grow and more people go to them and get sick of all their IPs getting screwed, that sooner or later these companies are going to start failing. And I liken it to like climbing up to the top of a mountain and jumping off. You know, it's going to take you forever to get to the top of that mountain, but getting down the bottom is going to go real quick. And
they got these ESG stuff they think will
right,
you know,
it's not
save
gonna work.
them. Yeah, it's
So when
only
they
that
get-
ESG.
environmental social governance, and it's too much to explain here right now, but we'll touch on it some other time.
Okay.
So I think that these movie studios are going to lose money, and eventually, in a last-ditch effort to save themselves, they're going to sell off some of these IPs to get some capital,
Right.
and then they'll sell them to a Daily Wire, or they'll sell them to some new outside the Hollywood bubble system. And
The last movie, Outpost.
and more of the. I mean, we've seen Gina Carano go over there. We've seen, more and more of these people that are getting work over there, talented people, right? We're seeing these third-party comic places, and like I said, it may take decades, but when it falls, I think it's going to fall very quickly. That's my theory about what's going to happen with entertainment. Unfortunately, the next 20 years is still going to suck.
I mean, with it is nice that Hollywood, I mean, like with Gina Carano, that, they sort of said, right, you're out of here, you're never working again. But there are still companies out there that are going, yes, you will. I know you lot don't like her, and she's not in that little bubble anymore, but there are not other bubbles, but I mean, there are places outside of that bubble where people can get work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and as they lose money, I mean, it's just a slow roll. It's not going to happen immediately. I mean, there was a time when IBM owned the PC computer market.
Yeah.
And then they kept going and kept going. But when they fell hard as far as that goes. And they were out of it within just a few years.
Wait a minute, but Blade Runner showed me a future where they still existed. I saw it in these big advertisements.
You mean Atari?
I
No,
thought
Sony.
IBM
Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, they, it's kind of the Atari syndrome, right? That's you're kind of making my point. It's like they thought, these companies, you think they're going to be there forever until they're not, and sooner or later, there's only so much money. People are going to choose to spend their money on other things. And
like you say, that they've got that whole thought of power, that they've got the control over it and everything else, but the more, to quote Princess Leia, the tighter the grip, the more the system slip through their fingers.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it won't take much to topple them out at the end of the day, even with all that power and money.
I mean, I could see Star Wars, some of these others finally ending up in a different company. I don't think that it can't happen. I mean, these licenses, they change hands all the time. The bigger ones, obviously, they stay around a lot longer. But if you keep screwing these things up, if you keep giving us, Last Jedis, if you keep giving us Star Trek Discovery, if you keep giving us that insane, Jonathan Kent flying in the intersectional day parade with Clark and Lois holding up that ridiculous flag, you gotta lose these things. Wait, you didn't like that? Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sarcasm, George. So, yeah, I mean, I think these IPs are still valuable. They're just in the wrong hands. You bring them back and you do them right, and you get somebody that actually respects the property again. They'll come back. We saw it with The Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
So, I think
it's funny that you say that. I mean, that's something that really resonated with me, was the fact of just respecting the property that you said about Nicholas Meyer with the Wrath of Khan. Yeah. That he wasn't a huge Star Trek fan, but he respected the property, and because of that, he made a great movie out of it.
Well, and he wasn't lazy. He sat down, he watched all 93 episodes.
Did he?
Back to back. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he did that before he took on the movie. So he really understood Star Trek by the time he got done. What's that?
Wow.
I I wanted to make sure you got your snarky joke in there, Sean. If you
No, I was just
go on, Sean. Go on,
painful that. I was just like, oh, that would be painful. That's all.
There's a few episodes that would be painful. You're right, but I mean, he made great, and he had a lot of input on the ones that he didn't direct. Like with Star Trek 4 and.
Yeah.
And 3. So I mean,
the first one is terrible though, isn't it? That Star Trek movie, the original cast movie. Man, that's
underrated as hell.
I still like it. I love Robert Wise
though. I'll be right back. Carry on.
I love Robert Wise though, so I give it a pass. I'm quite interested to see the whole director's cut.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I've only ever seen the original. I've never seen the director's cut. No.
I have the director's cut, but when they did it in 480p. They did all the effects and everything in 480p because it was DVDs back then. Came out in 2001, so they've never remastered it until now. But I think the director's cut. I mean, is it slow and everything? Yeah, but I really like the movie. I think it's got some good ideas in it, and I think it's. I think the director's cut helps it tremendously.
I genuinely love Robert Wise. I think the guy is absolutely brilliant. But I think the problem is he changed the tone just that bit too much for what was the original TV series to the movie. There's quite a jump in tone of everything.
You think? I think it's the most Star Trek of all the Star Trek movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like it has that vibe that, like all the other ones are far more personal to the crew in some way, I
mean, I haven't seen the original TV series for many, many years, any of them, to be perfectly honest. I probably should sit down because there's only about 3 seasons in there. It's not a lot of them, is it?
No, it's 3 seasons. The third season's when things really get rocky because they stopped. It only got a 3rd season because they got more fan mail than they ever had. They were kind of shocked by it. But they kind of cut its budget. They moved it to Friday nights. This is the 60s, so nobody's at home on Friday nights. And,
but with it, for me, the original series, from what I remember, was, and I say this with all due respect, quite hammy. In the whole, there's 4 people beaming down to the planet. There's Bones and Kirk and Spock and Davis, and Davis is not going to be
Ricky.
Back.
Oh crap!
Yeah, but I mean, the movie to me is, I think it's a very different tone to 2, 3, and 4, in the way that it's done. It's much, But I think it, for me, like I say, you had the TV series, and from what I remember, the TV series is more like 2, 3, and 4 than it is to 1. Is the way I see it.
I actually say it the opposite because all the other movies, I think there was a little bit of that in Star Trek, the motion picture, but not nearly as much. It was more about how they related to Starfleet getting back into their jobs and getting back into the swing of things. I mean, it even ended kind of like a normal Star Trek episode. Hey, I think we got this off to a good start. That little coda that they always had at the end. Whereas Star Trek 2, you had Kirk. It was all about Kirk dealing with his age and discovering his son and regrets and loss from getting older, right? Star Trek 3 was all about the crew trying to find Spock and sacrificing their careers. Very personal stories. Star Trek 4 was, saving the planet, but also them kind of, especially Kirk and Spock, trying to get Spock to remember more of who he was and the relationship that they had as they move forward and becoming a close-knit family again. 5 was, again, a lot of personal stuff in there. When the best part about 5 was when he got them to remember their pain and got to know them much better, and you got that wonderful scene. I want to lose my pain. I need my pain.
I think Sean is great. I don't care what you say, Yoda. Oh, he's back.
Sean knows. Sean knows how I feel about him.
I just always felt that, like in the TV series, they always were quite jovial in the way that they were done, whereas the motion picture is a much more serious movie. I don't think there's a single joke in there at all, is there?
What are you talking about, the first Star Trek movie still?
Yeah.
There's a few minor moments of situational
The bald-headed
humor.
chick, that was funny.
Yeah. There was some situational humor. And usually there was a lot of very serious Star Trek, and maybe they might have a joke in the coda or something, but a lot of it was very serious. Some of it was downright like horror. And then like the best episode, The City on the Edge of Forever, is just a gut punch throughout the whole thing. There's a little bit of humor, situational humor, when they end up fish out of water stuff, but it's mostly a very serious and tone to the whole episode. So no, I think it felt more like Star Trek than the others did. Not that the others didn't, but they are a different feel.
For me, I would have to say that my favorite out of, let's just say, that series of the first 5, I'd say that 4 is probably my favorite, mostly because I still remember seeing it with my dad in the cinema.
Which one is that one?
That's one of the whales, where they go back in time.
A lot of people say that. I don't like it much. I guess I always thought people liked it because they liked the idea of those characters interacting with the current day. I thought that was what
2 and 3 were pretty serious as well. I mean, they had some heavy shit happen to them in both of those.
They killed Spock.
They killed Spock. They killed Kirk's son.
Oh, sorry. Spock doesn't quite make it to the end.
Man, the death threats they got at that time. So they wanted to lighten things up for the voyage home, but it's still I think Voyage Home doesn't get as much praise as it should, because there's no bad guy in that. That's like one of the few Treks that doesn't have a villain.
Yeah, the whalers are the bad guys.
If you could call it, that's the closest you could come. But I mean, they show up for 1 second. They're more like an obstacle
human to the bad
overcome.
guys.
Yeah. That old chestnut. Humans were the worst monster out of all.
Everybody but Greenpeace was the villain.
Yeah, right.
Hey, in the 80s, that wasn't. I mean, Japanese are still killing. Fuck your whales.
Yeah, they still eat them. Yeah,
really disavow.
They say it tastes really good. Yeah, that was very racist, by the way.
That was a South Park. You see a South Park where they're always going out.
He learned to speak Japanese from Licorice Pizza, the restaurant owner.
But yeah, I mean, I think they kind of took a big risk there. I mean, they weren't on the Enterprise. They didn't have any of their uniforms. They go back in time to save whales.
Double dumbass to you.
Yeah. I mean, and it all works. It somehow all works, and it's really the most bizarre one of the four.
Metaphors.
My favorite scene from that is when Scotty's trying to sit down and use that computer, and the guy's like, "I'm here," and he picks computer, and he picks it
No
up.
computer.
Why don't you just use the keyboard? Oh, right. How quaint.
No, I think what's unintentionally funny in that is he just gets on the Mac and he begins randomly banging keys. He's just doing. He looks like a toddler at a xylophone. Yeah. Bang, 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 bang.
I always hate the fact that people type on the screen, aluminum. Then graphics come up on. They type on the keyboard, but graphics come up on the screen.
Yeah,
that's never happened ever.
It's like 1,000 monkeys and 1,000 keyboards can come up with Shakespeare, or one Scottish monkey at a Mac can come up with a transparent aluminum. Apparently,
yeah.
Which Twitter has shown is not true. Hi-oh.
But I mean,
I really like the last one of that series too. The Undiscovered Country. I like that one.
That's a good one. Yeah. 5 is the only real.
My favorite line in that is, "Excuse me, why would God need a spaceship?"
No, that's Final Frontier.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh my God.
Undiscovered Country is when we beat the Russians.
I can't believe you didn't know that, George. Oh my God. Somebody clipped that.
Wait, is that the one with what's her name? Michelle Forbes plays the Vulcan.
No.
It's
not Michelle Forbes. It's the chick from Sex and the City.
Oh, Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall plays the Vulcan. Yeah.
Right, no, I remember that one now. Right, okay, yeah, no, I was thinking of.
You know what their biggest mistake was? That they didn't have the balls to do it, and they should have, which would have made that movie so much more awesome, is to bring back Robin Curtis and put her in the Valeris role and make it Savick.
I think that would have been ballsy, but it also would have been.
You would not have seen it coming.
As a teenage male, Savick was yes.
Which one?
In Star Trek
No,
3.
which actress? Robin.
Oh,
The same one. Savick was the same actress in both of those movies she was in.
It was Kirstie Alley in Star Trek 2.
No.
Oh,
that was
Kirstie.
Savick?
No, Robin Curtis, wasn't it, in the second one?
Savick was Kirstie Alley in Star. Jesus, I got to school both of you people.
I didn't know that was supposed to be. I thought that was
Kirstie Alley was Savick in Star Trek 2. She left the role and got replaced by Robin Curtis in Star Trek 3. And then in Star Trek 4, she had a minor cameo, and they played around with the idea that because she had Ponfar with Spock in Star Trek 3, that she was pregnant with his son, but they decided to drop that.
That means
they did the dirty.
They did nasty alien sex.
Bow chicka bow bow.
No, Robin Curtis, I remember from number 3 was quite instrumental in my what's
Puberty.
the word?
Puberty.
Yeah. I kept thinking, those ears, I'd like to nibble them.
Your Big Ben rang out for the first time when you saw Lieutenant Savick.
She's nice enough, but she looks like a mom.
That's what he liked about it.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
I will not have you disparage my mother on this channel.
Yeah. It's part of the culture, Sean, with that whole royal family incest thing. You can't blame him.
Yeah. That's why no judgment here, no kink shaming.
Not with your accent.
Exactly. I'm more of a sister. The people always say, like, oh, Sean's from Kentucky, he must fuck goats. And I always say, no, I make love to goats.
It's completely consensual.
Yeah, that's right. The goats love it. That's when you said earlier about them going back to save whales, because that's the joke of British people over here, that all people in Wales shag sheep. Someone's like, save whales? Really? What about England and Scotland? That sounds a bit rough.
That was a lame joke.
I've got a cold. I'm allowed a lame joke.
What's wrong with your sense of
I'm
humor?
so sorry.
Well, I got a cold.
I have a cold.
Yeah, it's broken right now. I can't smell anything. How am I supposed to know what's good?
Don't even know what my farts are like.
It's still a line. Nothing. By the way, from Ghostbusters, that's still a line that makes me laugh every single time. Listen, you smell something? What? I never get tired of that line. I don't know why.
Was that from the first one?
That's from the first one. I think it's like when they're in the library. He's like, "Listen, do you smell something?" I'm like,
oh yeah.
What?
That movie is full of great lines.
I never get tired of that line.
That's because you've got great comedians who are brilliant writers and a great writer and producer.
Yeah, we
movie.
import them from Canada.
I still say in Ghostbusters 2, when Bill Murray's taking the pictures of the picture and he's like, show me angry. Yeah. that dude, I laugh at that just as hard as the first time I seen it, no matter how many times.
Where do you think Mike Myers got the idea for Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Funny enough, actually, the other day I was on my computer and I didn't have my TV here, and I put Netflix on, and The Spy Who Shagged Me was on there, and I thought, God, I haven't seen that for ages. And I watched it, and I did think to myself, why was this funny?
It never was.
The first one was quite amusing, but then just the second one was just unnecessary, and then the third one I couldn't tell you a thing about it. Like I say, there were a couple of good jokes in the first one, but after that it was just kind of, why did this carry on?
By the time it got to the third one, it was just a bald, naked cash grab.
Yeah.
It had turned into exploitation. It really had. It is a parody of itself. Huh?
It had Mini-Me in it. That was I think the only amusing thing about the second one.
What's with you and the dwarfs today?
I don't know. I like feeling tall. So I just like hanging around dwarfs.
It makes you feel like a big man to make jokes about dwarfs.
Yeah, Maddie, I know NGL is lagging. I struggle with this every time. Try different things to keep the voice and the video synced, but
it's Isn't the guy that played Mini-Me, didn't he die?
Very shortly. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
What killed him?
Thrown across the
Little
room
flame.
by Austin Powers, I think.
That'd do it.
so many
The
jokes.
cloning process wasn't perfected, I guess. He was obviously not completely incubated. Look how small he was.
Yeah. He seemed like a nice guy. It was weird.
We,
he never
we,
got
we
to
need to
talk.
not go down that road a second time with this whole dwarf shaming thing. I can't take it again.
The audience loves it, though.
I don't think they do.
Got
We
8
had a
people
dislike on the video the other day.
watching. I'll take that. Probably from something
Just
I
one.
said.
That's not bad.
Probably from something I said.
It was me. I just watched this. I go, this sucks.
Who are these fucking clowns?
Car Crash TV.
Look at these clowns. Jesus Christ.
So, everybody like our new thumbnails. Tell me if that would make you click on our videos better. We're trying out new things. Well,
Yeah,
yes.
they've added emojis to them, apparently.
I did. I had emojis.
Oh yeah, no, that was
We're
not
very-
my idea.
We're very clickbaity now. We're like full YouTubers.
I'm sorry. Were you under the assumption that I had shame?
No, if
Or
I thought you had shame, I
pride?
wouldn't be part of this whole thing.
Okay. Then what are you complaining about? What are you making?
I'm just trying to sound cool, man.
That's the Simpsons joke, isn't it? When it's going, well, I feel something for that. It's not shame. What's the opposite of shame? Pride. No, not that far from shame.
Let's not get crazy here. Okay, well, I think we've talked about everything we could talk about. We've flailed aimlessly enough. What do you got? Something else?
No. I was just going to say.
You guys, did you guys see anything over the week that?
Yeah,
That's
chew that up.
disgusting. That is so gross. You uncivilized ape. What's the matter with you?
I did watch. Just to mention, I did watch Trekkies from 1997 because I've just done an interview with the director. Roger Nygaard. It was nice to have an intelligent conversation with an American.
He says after just chewing up a loogie.
Yeah, on camera.
Well, I'm not going to spit it out. I'm not going to waste it, am I? But he was really interesting. And so I've got an interview with him coming up very soon.
Good thing you did that interview and talked to him before we did this, and he might have seen the way you act on here.
He's written this book called Cut to the Monkey, which is about comedic editing in Hollywood. Which I did say to him, I only got it yesterday, so please don't ask me what my favourite part of the book was. The favourite part was, easily the life struggle on page 118. I really identified with that.
I was a big fan of how cheap it was and the discount being.
Yeah, I got to say, I love the book because I've had a rickety table for a while and it's right under the leg. It's brilliant now.
God, this chair has been doing this forever. It's so much. Thank you.
It's been very helpful.
Just the right amount of pages.
But no, I've got his interview to edit down, which, like I say, is hopefully quite interesting. It was nice talking to him. He was a very talkative chap.
You could do the Amadeus criticism. It's like, what did you think of the book? Well, there's too many words. You just cut a few, and I think it'll be great.
I was going to make the joke and say, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but my favourite part at the moment is the appendix. It's brilliant. It's really good.
Very organized.
The cover art's nice, you know.
The chapters are in numerical order, which I always like.
I will probably get that because, you know, the more and more I try these different things and edit, I'm not above taking new pointers. Haven't you? Yeah, you guys roll over my news every weekend. You just slobber over me. You ask me for my autograph. Don't lie to the people. Yeah, we know how you feel.
No, that's not asking for your autograph. That's for you to sign the restraining order. I've told you that, all right? It's not an autograph. It's judge appointed.
Sure.
You gotta sign the subpoena to recognize you received it.
Yeah. My seventh one. Sure. Go ahead. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
I had a friend that he passed away a few years ago, but he'd been married like 3 or 4 times, and he always referred to his ex-wives as plaintiffs 1, plaintiff 2, plaintiff 3.
You know, when you get past number 2, it's like how many times you got to slam your head in a car door before you realize it might hurt.
Yeah, I think he eventually did figure out that
some people just like wedding cake.
That's true.
I do love a good wedding cake.
I bet you could buy a wedding cake once a week, like a full-on layered wedding cake once a week, and eat it, and it would still be cheaper than all those divorces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of intrigued now of thinking I want to go to my local bakery and sort of say, I want a cake for not George Lucas and Jessica Chastain or whatever, and then buy that cake that 1 week. No, but buy that cake that 1 week, and then next week go in and order another one for somebody different. Not George Lucas, and this time it's Angelina Jolie. And just see how long it takes them to twig.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to make that a recurring. I'm just going to whore myself out every week and try to get some new actress to marry me.
Yeah, that was a
One
good
of them's
idea.
bound to say yes.
One of them's bound to say yes, and then I'm fucked.
I can't reply. Oh, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, God. Hey, let's not get crazy here, George.
Yeah, let's don't go too far with
I
it.
have
all right?
some standards.
Yeah. If you're going to shoot for the stars, at least actually do it. Don't like, somebody you could actually get.
I sent them out to everybody. I forget they were. Guess who's got a 3-way with Melissa McCarthy and Amy Schumer next week?
It'd be like being between two bowling balls.
Have you ever seen
It's like taking a ride at Wet n Wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, have you ever seen the movie Life Force, the 80s classic movie Life Force? When those bodies have had all of their souls sucked out of them. Except for the difference being is that Matilda May was very attractive, whereas the two I mentioned are not.
Can you believe the same guy that made Texas Chainsaw Massacre made that movie?
Actually, yes, I can.
Yeah, I totally
Toby
remember.
never really did hit the same heights after that Chainsaw.
He did Poltergeist.
Did he?
Huh?
Did he do Poltergeist?
Well, yeah, I know. There is that whole question
No.
of whether he did or not.
I would love to get the final straight scoop on that. Did he do Poltergeist or not?
Toby's dead. Why won't Spielberg just admit it now? It's not like he's going to hurt his feelings now at this point.
Yeah, like I say, it would be interesting to see the whole behind the scenes. Yes, I was just thinking the whole behind the scenes of Steven Spielberg directing, but then seeing the cameras on him and Toe Pipper pushing him out of the way. Yeah, no, I think Steven was right with that. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah.
What have been the comments from the cast? Has anybody really spoke up about that one way or the other? Any of the cast?
I guess we'll have to do some research and make a video on it, George.
Yeah.
How to make us
make it up and lie.
You could make one of those that make it how to make a Toby Hooper movie. First hire your director, Toby Hooper, and then Steven Spielberg.
Then put him in a closet. Nail the crate shut. Let him out after the movie's done. And then put his name on it.
What?
And lie.
Texas
for the next
Chainsaw
35
Massacre.
What
I
is
think
it?
it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He just said Chainsaw what?
How many? What do you think?
How many other movies are there with chainsaw in the title?
Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Oh, yeah. It's not a huge movie, though, is it?
Not a lot of romantic comedies, though. I've noticed.
That's true.
When Harry met Black and Decker, you don't see those.
Do you know what you call a prostitute with braces? Or never mind. Never mind. No, I can't.
Say that to after the stream, I think, Sean.
Mother of God.
And it's usually me. I've been very well behaved today, actually. I think. Ish.
Well, I think we've flailed long enough. So, thank you all for watching. We are lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in news, movies, streaming, reviews, all of it. We are the cool news now. You can reach us at Movie Outpost on Twitter. You can email us, contact us at lastmovieoutpost.com. You can find me at DrunkenYoda1 on Twitter. You can find George here at NotGeorgeLucas1 on Twitter, and you can find Sean well armed and will blow your head off if you come onto his property.
If you can see the whites of your eyes, you're already dead.
Yeah. That's right.
You could find me writing reviews on the website too.
You can, and you've done some good ones. I'll give you credit.
Well, thank you. That must have been very painful to have to do.
No, at some point I'll even read them. So
anything to fill the page.
Hey,
That's what we're after.
Don't go crazy. Don't promise something that me and you both know where you're not going to
maximum effort. So, George, got any last words?
No.
Sean?
Maybe hopefully next week Cecil will be on if everything's okay with him and there's not some schedule conflict he has.
Yeah, I mean, we joke. No hard feelings, Cecil. We get it. Everybody's got what they got to do. We appreciate that you were going to give us a chance, and if you could be on, we're more than happy to have you. So keep your eyes out here. We're subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, share everything out, like them. Let the algorithms know that you like us.
We're trying to get a virus. Sorry, we're trying to go viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had a YouTube channel, we'd subscribe to you.
And not watch it.
Probably not, but we'd subscribe the hell out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Oh, yeah. I totally subscribe to it.
So he's asking if we're going to upgrade to HD. We're at 720p. And,
what else do you want? God, what these people are always wanting more from us. Like earlier, he was complaining we weren't talking about movies enough, and then now he's like, "Ooh, 1080p."
Yeah, you want us to get
honestly,
better equipment, better internet.
You do not want to see us in high definition.
That's true.
There is that's going to be scary.
That's why I smear my camera with a little Vaseline over it, so you don't get HD of this. Ugh.
That's with the Vaseline?
When I was a kid, I was so ugly when I was a kid. My dad used to tie a pork chop around my neck to get the family dog to play with me. Put me in a corner and feed me with a slingshot. They used to make me live in the basement of the outhouse.
If you're going to do Rodney Dangerfield, you got to do him right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's rough. It's real rough. I saw a dog over there. He's licking himself, like dogs do. I said to my friend, boy, I wish I could do that. He said, well, pet him. Maybe he'll let you. But I'll tell you, it's rough.
My jokes were better. If Rodney Dangerfield was funnier than me, why is he dead and I'm alive?
That is a good point.
I'm speechless. You've rendered me speechless with your stupidity, sir, and I award you no points. May God have mercy on your soul.
I'm just too big brain for you two smooth brains.
That must be it.
I've got a big, giant, wrinkled brain. You two have smooth brains.
So anyway, like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's worth it.
Wait a minute. We could just keep going until the Oscars, and then we could just like.
Oh no!
I don't have the energy for that.
I haven't had my dinner yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually going to try to watch a couple of movies.
Can you imagine how angry and tired we would be by the time they're on? Bloody Amy Schumer! Here we go.
You got to admit, if we're really hangry and tired and cranky, and we start watching the Oscars live, that could be very entertaining.
It would be. Yeah. I think it would be funny if we watched.
Sean, could you send over some of your guns to me, please? Because I want to blow my brains out.
I don't think you have a license for that, mate.
It doesn't matter. I'm only going to use them once, so.
We've taken our commenters, put them in a steel crate in the hot sun all day, denied them food and water. Now we're plopping them down in front of the Oscars. Let's see what happens.
I don't know if I don't think I'm going to watch them at all. I'm gonna watch, just keep track enough to see if I want any money, which I'm pretty sure I will have a little at least. I didn't go big.
I'm really rooting for, and I think it's a solid bet that some star is going to go out there and make a complete ass of themselves, and
no,
and that's going to make for some good fodder for next week's entertainment news.
I think it would be funny if it was Ricky Gervais.
You know what? I would really like to see Licorice Pizza win something, but I don't doubt it.
Licorice Pizza or Dune. Those are the two that I think are the best.
Home Sweet Home Alone. I'm got my fingers crossed for. I've got a lot of money on that, so if that comes in,
yes, movie.
I am out of here.
Movie most likely to make the audience commit suicide. The winner is Home Sweet Alone, and then you just hear like 15 gunshots in the audience.
I don't think you got to worry. I got some bad news, George. I don't think I don't think it's going to win.
I was just thinking, and the category for the best cinematic shot is Alec Baldwin.
Hey-o.
Oh my God, we have not talked about that in a while. We need to figure out what's going on with him.
He hasn't done anything. He's
No.
right.
That's not true. He's recently started blaming the girl that he shot for him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She reached out and pulled the trigger
in front of
herself.
a gun? Yeah.
She made me do it.
She should have made me so angry if she didn't want to get herself shot.
Is Billy Crystal doing the Oscars tonight? Oh man, I have no idea. Didn't they decide to go hostless because they couldn't find somebody that didn't have some horrible shit on their Twitter?
No, it's Amy Schumer. I'm sure it's Amy Schumer. Yeah, and somebody else, apparently comedians.
I know poor Kevin Hart got they found some joke that they didn't like, and it was like a dream of his to host the Oscars. He had to bow out.
Yeah, me too.
I love the fact
gay joke. He made a gay joke as well.
I mean, I can't stand Ricky Gervais, but I like Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globe saying, Kevin Hart got fired because of the Twitter. Hello?
Yeah.
Why don't you like him? I still don't understand why you don't like Ricky Gervais.
I watched I had the DVD of the original American Office, and I remember a couple of scenes behind the scenes of where Steve Merchant is doing all the writing, and Ricky basically had one of the runners' head taped up, and that's all he was doing. He was just taping up this kid's head, and I just think that Ricky Gervais is not the comic genius. It was like he's the kind of person that on a school project, everybody else would do the work and he does bugger all. But then
he's literally me. That was literally me.
He's like the loud and outlandish one who goes, "Yeah, I did all that. Yeah, look at that," and he takes all the glory for it.
That's the charm. That's the charm of his.
That was like when was it that was a good 20 years ago at least, right? When did that British Office 2001 or something like that? So
yeah.
I mean, the stuff he's done since then, and the work he's done since then, and his work at the Golden Globes has been so phenomenal.
He's entertaining.
He's
he's
had 20 years of changing. Does he get any credit for any of that? I guess not, George.
This is starting to seem like jealousy to me, George.
Yeah, you're an absolute SJW. One mistake 20 years ago. That's all it takes for me.
No. But he's also a one-hit wonder that he comes out and does his whole speech about being outrageous and blah blah blah, and that's just like one trick pony. That's just the one thing he does.
Did you see The Invention of Lying? I thought it was pretty good.
I thought that was very good. Yeah.
Again, it was all about the whole I don't like God. And that's kind of his one-trick pony. He's been on lots of documentaries over here with Richard Dawkins, I think it is, who's an evolutionist. And they just sort of go on about how there's no God all the time. And it's just like, yeah, okay, Ricky, we get it.
But I think you got to check out some of his stuff for the last 4 or 5 years. I think he's really expanded and gotten better. I do agree. I felt like he was too abrasive on the British Office. He was just too unlikable. And his character wasn't very good. And some of the stuff they did, I was like kind of take it or leave it. But I feel like he's grown and changed and pushed himself a bit in the last few years and done some interesting things. So
I think so. He really entertains me, And I like that he's a bit of a definitely a defender of free speech and stuff. And
yeah, I do like that he's willing to stick a thumb in the eye of Hollywood. I do like that.
Yeah, I like that. He might be a prick in his personal life or whatever, but I don't know, man. He
hates guns.
Well,
he's
of course
really
he does.
outspoken about hating guns.
That's British.
And he can't. But see, the difference is he has no effect on it here because he's not a U.S. citizen. He can't even vote, so I don't care. His opinion on that is irrelevant to me.
Why is there no God if evolution is real? So Matic has been complaining that we don't talk about movies, and then he puts one of the most existential questions in the comment chat.
Yeah.
Matic, it's really late. Okay.
You know what? The thing that Gervais the funny thing about Gervais and his atheism is that he doesn't realize that he's created his own religion, that he proselytizes harder than any hardcore Bible thumper that I know. It's like it's like, okay, we get it. A real atheist wouldn't care. You just sound like you're mad at daddy. When you go that far, it's like, I'm just mad at daddy. When I was a kid, I didn't get that,
Most of these leftists are mad at their dad. A ton of it comes from that. So
anyway, come on, let's go. Laddie,
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Google if there's a God and get back to us.
I haven't eaten today. It's gonna get this stream is gonna get a whole lot better if we don't get off of it.
I might tell some very spicy jokes if we don't go now.
That's right.
I'm feeling it. That's like I got to tell these jokes that I normally say for after the stream that our audience doesn't get to listen to. So I'm very antsy. I might accidentally
exactly. So everybody go so I can hear them.
Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week on the same stream. Remember, noon Central Time. Set your calendars, and we'll be there.
Freeze frame on.